Hello, everybody. I am so happy to be here with you today. Today is near and dear to my heart because this has to do with something I personally have worked through and lived, and it's my cancer story, my journey. So, welcome. My name is Beth Krause. I'm the owner operator of Grace Anatomy Functional Health and Nutrition. And I'm going to share my personal cancer journey today. We are going to do a 4-part series of cancer healing and wellness throughout this month of cancer awareness. If you know anybody who is struggling with cancer, recovering from it, or you yourself are that person, or you're supporting someone, please jump on and walk through this month with me on my social medias or on these live YouTubes. Ask questions or even join the Facebook community. I'll jump in there once in a while and I will read the comments. So please feel free to drop a prayer request or any comments in there that you would like so that I can pray along with you in your journey as well. So let's get started. When I was 29, I went to a regular checkup. And being in the field, of course, I did do self-exams as well. I did my annual and everything was fine. Went home. And a month later, my husband actually found a lump. Now, I was nursing at the time, like physically breastfeeding, and this was my 4th child, and I had never had an experience where my husband had felt any other lumps or bumps or anything out of 4 children. And so, because he actually could feel something different, I immediately knew that there was something that wasn't quite right. And I went in because it was just 1 month later, and my own physician never felt anything. So I went in the next day and the tests started. By the end of the week, I had a fine needle cell biopsy, and by the beginning of the following week, I was scheduled for surgical removal. You see, this started a roller coaster of testing and quick decisions, really, because within a matter of 10 days, I went from thinking that it was really no big deal to finding out I had cancer. And I had 4 children from the ages of 7 to 2. So at that time, I didn't know what I know now, and I wouldn't have made some of those decisions that I made back then. But like I've told others, I am here to share my journey with you. And so I hold space for grace for anyone who has made decisions, has gone through all the things, or has even lost loved ones, because we make the best decisions with the information that we're given or that we know of, and we do what we feel is right for us at the time. And there is healing on this side of heaven, and sometimes our healing comes in our homegoing. God has refined me through this process and drawn me closer to Him. So, how did I walk through this process with 4 little ones? Now, not all of you might be in the same position. You might not have little ones at home. Maybe you're in your later years. Maybe you haven't had children yet. But there are natural ways to healing, and we're going to talk about the nutrition part of things, and the testing and all of those things throughout this month. But today it's just about my story and how we as a family made it through. So, one of the things that I did to make it through and what we went through is family support was huge. And for those of you that have family close, involve them, talk to them, and allow them to help you. For those of you that don't have family near you, rely on your church family or your close-knit circle of friends. Allow them to step in, and don't be too proud or think you can do it all on your own, especially if you have children. But even if you don't isolate yourself. Allow them to be your encouragers. Allow them to hear your true heart and what you're going through, even if they don't understand it. But also allow that space for grace for those that don't know how to react to what you're going through or the physical changes that may be happening, like when you lose your hair, or if you bloat from some of the medication that they give you, if that's the route you choose. Or if they're afraid because you chose the natural route and now people are standoffish because they think you've made the wrong decision. You know, their thoughts are not what you need to do. You need to choose the right route for you. So remember that as we go throughout this month. Whatever you choose is right for you at the time that you choose to do it. So hold that space with grace for those around you and for yourself. So remember that if you are not the one going through the cancer journey, but if you are the one, remember that for those that are trying to support you as well. Another thing that I did is I relied heavily on scripture. And my fighting verse when things got really tough was Joshua 1:8-9, because that's when the Lord challenged Joshua and got him ready for battle. And at the time, I did feel like I was in a battle. He says, "Have I not commanded thee? Be strong and of good courage. Do not be afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for the Lord your God is with thee wheresoever thou goest." And I knew no matter where or how I was going to get through, I knew God was there with me. I did not have to worry, and I did not need to be fearful, because fear is not of God. Fear is of the enemy. So no matter which way I was going, I knew that I was being carried. So it didn't say feel strong, it said be strong. And so I felt like I was strong through my journey. And so each day was strength for me. In fact, I remember when I was going through my chemotherapy. So my steps were 5-needle cell biopsy, radical lumpectomy with lymph node dissections, and then chemotherapy and radiation. Those were my processes. The very first treatment, I did get what's considered mouth ulcers, and they went down into my throat. And I didn't really think other than they were extremely excruciating, painful. I wasn't going to say anything because I thought it was just part of the process. And I'm glad I did because they had to cancel my chemotherapy for my second treatment because found out that was a reaction and it could have caused me to go septic. But about the time I didn't think I was going to lose my hair, I started to lose my hair. And it's a vanity thing, yes, but yet it is extremely, for me, it was extremely painful. And it felt like somebody had hit me over the top of the head with a bat. So it was the week before Christmas. And we were getting ready for church. And my girls and I were bathing, and my hair started falling out, and I didn't want them to see it. So I quickly got them, rushed out of the bathroom, and I just lost it. And it's just hair, and clearly my hair has grown back. But at that moment, it made it seem more real. I knew I was going through it, but it didn't matter because nobody could see. So that Sunday, I wore my wig because I had a wool coat. It was very cold. I live in the northern part of the States. And I had a wool coat, and I didn't want my hair falling out on my wool coat. So I wore my wig for the first time. And I thought that all my friends would know or feel like I was a different person. But nobody knew. Nobody knew it wasn't my hair. They just thought I got a different hairstyle. So that gave me more confidence, but yet I still broke down when I saw my really good close friends. See, I lost some friends, or the dynamic changed over the holiday season because they didn't know how to still treat me, the person. They only saw me, even though I looked similar and I was the same person, they only saw me as cancer. And so our friendship changed because they didn't know how or what to say or not to say around me anymore. I hadn't changed. I just had cancer. I didn't identify as cancer, but they were grieving and they didn't know how to deal with it. So our friendship changed. And some friendships got stronger. So I encourage you to be that friend and be that strength for someone else. Also, if you do lose your hair, know that it will come back. Some people's come back a different color, a different texture. Mine came back stick straight. It came back a little bit thicker, but it came back stick straight. I used to have a natural wave, not curl, but a wave, and a little bit more fullness, but it came back stick straight. Whereas a couple of my friends that also had been going through cancer, theirs came back super curly and wiry and gray, or I shouldn't say wiry, coarse and gray. So it's hair is very interesting. But anyway, that is some of the things. Also, I was in direct sales at the time, and I wore my wig. And one of the houses I had back then, smoking was more prevalent than it is now. And again, I was 29, so I'm definitely further away from that age than I am closer to it. And so back then, I had gone into several homes that people smoked quite heavily and, had to wear my wig. Well, that was over the holiday season, and I was also working as a childbirth educator. And I had a clinic party to go to that evening. So I left my coat and all my clothes that I could in my vehicle. But I had to wear my hair. And so when I came out on my way to the next town, I took my wig off and I held it out the window so that I could air it out. And by the time I got to where I was going, my hair did not smell like smoke. It smelled like it had been hanging out on the line in the spring, fresh air. And so it smelled nice and fresh. And all I had to do was floof it up and put it back on, and I was good to go. So there's great moments to remember, funny moments to remember when you go on your cancer journeys as well. So the other thing I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure that as I was journeying through this time, that I had places for my children to be so they never were around my weekends where I would have my chemotherapy, so that they would have a break from me and I would have time to recuperate before they came back. And then I could be mom again. Well, that must have worked for the most part because they don't remember ever seeing me sick. They don't remember my cancer so much. They remember playing with my wigs as dress up, my two girls. But my oldest son is like, it really wasn't that big of a deal, Mom. And I'm glad they don't have a memory of that. And I know that some of you are certainly suffering. Do what you can, but you don't have to hide. And I learned that there are certain things that others don't want to see. For my kids, I wanted to be strong. For the adults in my life, I heard things that were said that, oh, I would never want to see this, or I would never want to see that. But I needed to be normal for my children. So I encourage you to walk a normal path in your journey. I encourage you to not hide away from your family gatherings. Don't hide what you're going through from adults in your life, because they need to see that you live and lead a normal life for your family members, regardless of what you're going through. And they need to see that sometimes you struggle and you need help. So it's okay to have those struggles. It's okay to ask for help during those times where you're struggling. Now, my first few treatments, I didn't feel like I needed a whole lot of help. I felt like I did okay. But my last one, I got horribly sick for quite a long time, a few weeks actually. And I did need help. My kids don't remember any of that. My husband certainly does. Your support people, the ones closest to you, they also need help. Because see, when you're going through it, you're the one that has the plan. But your support person, they feel helpless. You're going to all the appointments, you're getting all the treatments, you're getting this protocol, that thing, you're doing your nutrition or whatever, and they're supporting you. Plus, they're taking care of the finances and all of the everything else. They're trying to pick up where you can't. but they don't know how to help you, and they want to just fix you. So have space for grace for them as well. Support people, caregivers. Reach out. Don't be too proud to go talk to a friend or take a break or ask somebody to step in so you can get a breather. It's okay. When I didn't know what to pray or how to pray, Psalm 61:2 says, "From the end of the earth will I cry unto thee. When my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock that is higher than I." That verse became a breath prayer. When the fear crept in, at appointments, in the car, in the quiet, lead me to the rock, Lord, higher than my fear, higher than the diagnosis. Lead me. Lead me to you. You're the rock. So I want to encourage you to have the courage to keep moving. There were days that I did feel weak, right? But like I said, there is no fear in the Lord because He does not give us the spirit of fear. The word became more than the medicine. It was my everything. So Psalm 118:17 says, "I shall not die, but live and declare the works of the Lord." You need to speak that over your body every day, but not just over your body, over your mindset. Speak that and breathe it into your life. You can see healing. And this is why I think I felt so strong through my journey. I didn't feel like I was ever a cancer survivor. I never identified with cancer. And it wasn't until this last year, early on, I was asked to speak when my hair was just growing in at some cancer survivor or some, events. But then I never went back to it. I have never really sat down and told my whole story again because I've never identified as a cancer survivor. But I am. I have always looked at myself as so I've had it. I've had cancer and I'm here. But I just came to a realization this year after I finished my radiation treatments. You finish then your whole cancer journey. And you get to ring the bell. And for some people, that's very, like, I've done it. I've gotten to the top of the steps, like Rocky when he runs the top of the steps and he jumps up and down. And ringing that bell is a sign of I'm finished. For me, I hated ringing that bell. It got to me and I hated it. Not because I didn't want to be done with treatments. I didn't feel like I had deserved the right to ring that bell because I saw people struggle way more than I ever did. I've lost friends to cancer, and I've helped friends pass into eternity from cancer. I never felt like I earned that right to ring that bell. And yet I am a cancer survivor, just never identified with it because I am a conqueror in Christ. And sometimes I think that cancer victims stay stuck in survivor mode and don't shift their mind or their eyes to God. They stay stuck in survivor mode. I really want to give you this invitation to shift. And if you need prayer or someone to walk alongside with you, click the link and join the Facebook group and drop your prayer requests in there. And I'd be happy to pray with or for you at any time. So anyway, I just want to give you this encouragement this week through my story. Like I said, you don't have to do it alone. And I hope that sharing part of my story has helped you. The other thing I just want to leave you with and encourage you to do, especially if you have a family history of cancer or you have children, is I did a photo album for my kids to encourage them to not be afraid, to show them what I went through, to show them how I went through it. I took them to some of my treatments. I showed them that I could still be their mom and what I looked like without my wig. They don't remember me looking like that. And to just not be afraid that we could still be a family. That's my brother with me. And that's my little one of my little girls in my wig. And that there's hope if they ever have to endure something. And now, knowing what I know now, I would make different decisions. I would choose a more natural approach because I do have lasting, lingering side effects from the approach that I took. But again, have space for grace. At the time, you make the decisions that you make that are best for you. I love you, and if you are struggling, please reach out and ask for prayer. You guys have a great week, and I look forward to next week when we will talk about testing and early detection and what is being offered out there for you as you walk your journey or get tested before you even have to endure something like this. All right, until